watching Captains of Industry here on CNBC Africa. I'm chatting to Ian Fuhr, who is the founder and CEO of Sobert. Ian, you're a serial entrepreneur and you've been in the game since you were 22 years old. So some of those years have been rather tough. Others have been incredibly rewarding. And let's jump forward to 10 years ago, right, when you were lying on a massage table and the idea for a beauty business came to mind. Yes. What was that? What sparked that idea?
Well, I was lying there and it wasn't my idea. It was the idea of the beauty therapist that was doing the massage, and she said that she felt there was an opportunity in the beauty industry. I had just sold my previous company and I couldn't quite relate to the beauty industry, I must be honest. That wasn't exactly my first port of call. I didn't associate myself with the beauty industry in any way. I used to use soap instead of skincare products, like once or twice a week, so it wasn't exactly...
I can associate with the beauty industry, okay. And I think men and women watching this show, because of the brand that you've built, yes, are also starting to associate with the beauty industry.
Yes, and then, you know, I decided to have a look at it, and I found that there was an opportunity, there was a gap in the business in terms of a branded chain. There were no branded chains of any kind at that time. And whilst there was a gap in the business, I had to make sure there was business in the gap and try to understand why no one else had ever done that before. And that was quite a big question. But sometimes you just have to step boldly into the unknown territory and find out for yourself.
Now, you had money at this stage because you had just sold, it was now Supermart, which initially for the first 12 years was trading as Kmart.
Correct.
To Edcon, yes, for 112 million rand.
Correct.
You, yes, and your brother,
that's right,
obviously shared that money, yes, but you had some money to put skin in the game.
Correct, I did.
And was it an expensive venture at the outset to start buying up independent beauty operators?
It was extremely expensive, and I think the banks weren't even remotely interested in looking at this. And
so the banks weren't kind of throwing open their doors.
Laughed at me, and what are you doing? I think that I started questioning my sanity after a short spell. But I decided to use my own money eventually, and that started running out after the first 3 or 4 years, which I call the dark days, when we were struggling to get the brand off the ground, and in particular struggling to sell franchises, which was the plan originally. So if you can't sell franchises, you have to keep opening company stores, which is what we did, and eventually we got to 22 of those stores before we got our first franchise.
So now, obviously a huge turn of events. I bet you the bankers are knocking on your door on a daily basis.
Things have changed a little, yes, I would say, yeah.
In terms of the challenging time, yes, because I want to dwell on that. I think, again, a number of entrepreneurs watching really feel the pain. And yeah, it's difficult to keep going when sometimes it feels as though you are just bashing your head against a closed door.
Yeah.
What made you continue?
I think there are a number of important characteristics that an entrepreneur needs. And very briefly, one of them would be intuition. I believe firstly you have to intuitively know what is right, even though you don't have the evidence to prove it. And you have to just believe in that. You have to have faith in that view. And then you need some courage, as you say, because there are many dark days, and you continuously question whether or not you're doing the right thing, and why are you blowing all this money, and why are you doing this to your family, and why, and lots of questions and not too many answers. And I think you have to get back to that intuition to say, you know what, I'm doing the right thing, I need to keep at it, I need to keep my head down and somehow keep going, and that's essentially what I did.
Now, as a television presenter, I spend a lot of time in beauty bars, yes, whether it's my nails or my hair. It's one of the requirements of the job, let's put it that way.
Yes.
Now, I'm a loyal customer of yours. And
thank you.
When I was reading your story, I was really interested in this customer satisfaction versus customer loyalty. And,
yes,
and you put it very appropriately in that customer satisfaction is easy to come by.
Yes.
It's the customer loyalty element that is the key, yes, to the success of your beauty business. Now, you've made me a loyal customer because you give me money back. I have to be honest.
Okay, good.
So,
right,
why did you pursue that avenue? It's you know, people are reticent to give money back,
yes,
in any scenario.
Correct.
Is that the winning formula here?
Yes, I think so. Well, look, it's part of it. I sort of realized over the years, throughout all my entrepreneurial journeys and adventures, that satisfaction just wasn't good enough. You know, I think satisfaction is the ability to meet people's expectations, and that's about all it does. It's okay, but it's not great. And people will, yes, maybe they'll come, maybe they won't, maybe they'll go somewhere else. But loyalty is something where you go and exceed the expectations, where you go, wow, that was great, and or wow, I got something back, or wow, I got half of a, you know, I got 50% off on my birthday, etc., etc. So I think the loyalty thing, and it comes not only from the loyalty program itself, but in the service and the culture of service, where people feel comfortable and they feel at home at a Sobert environment. And I think that's been an important part. Perhaps the biggest differentiator of all in the Sobert environment is the service philosophy and the service culture.
I often sit in the chair while I'm having my nails done,
Yes.
and I see the poster which says, if you are not satisfied with your treatment, we will give you your money back.
That's correct.
And I've repeatedly looked at that poster and I've thought, how many people take you up on that offer?
Yes, very few actually, believe it or not. I think most people worry about it. Our franchisees worry about that, our staff worry about that, but very, very few take it up. And it's quite a simple formula how that whole thing works from our point of view. We work out that the average guest spends about 500 Rand a month, or say 6,000 Rand a year, 30,000 Rand over 5 years as a loyalty member. If you're going to give somebody a refund for 300 or 400 Rand, and that's going to keep her loyal, and you're going to get the 30,000 Rand back over the next 5 years, it's actually a very simple formula.
Just taking that one step further,
Yeah.
if somebody utilizes a product, let's say you
Yes.
buy a tube of Dermalogica,
Yes.
and I come to you and I go to the receptionist and I say, look, I've been using this product for the last 2 months. It's almost empty, but I'm not satisfied. You're still going to give me my money back?
I will indeed. Yes, we will definitely do that. I know that's unusual. Some people think we're totally crazy. Our competitors probably think we're a bit crazy too, but it's an important, in fact, it's a vital part of our business philosophy, is that return and refund policy. Again, you know, I would rather make the guest happy. We can't afford to lose a guest. If we lose a guest, it's, you know, it's the 30,000 Rand over the next 5 years. So if we can retain her by keeping her happy, then it's very simple at the end of the day. So even if they come back with a little bit, it's fine, let them come.
People aren't going to think you're crazy because you are set to make 500 million Rand in turnover for your 2016 financial year.
Yes.
And that has been rapid growth. Speak to us now about, and what, you've got about 131 stores?
136 at the moment. We
136
opened
stores.
3 in the last 10 days.
So you're moving more quickly than I can read about your business
yeah, you got
model.
to keep up to date, yes.
And only 4 of those, is that still valid, are company owned?
That's right, 4 of those. And in fact, 2 of those have been sold, but will be taken over probably by the 1st of October. So we're actually going to bring it down to 0 at the end of the day. We totally believe in franchising. We don't believe we should be running company-owned stores.
So why? Why is franchising the model to adopt in this instance?
I think it's the passion of the franchisee. Firstly, most franchisees come to us because they've been guests of ours first. So they've experienced the brand as you have, and they like it and they would like to go into business. So that's the one thing. They love the brand even before they start. Then, of course, they come from all types of corporate environments. A lot of them are very business savvy. They understand business. So if you have, you know, a woman who's completely business savvy and she's passionate about your brand, there's a much better chance that she'll make it work than us employing a manager in a store.
What do the franchisees get? Are you the franchisee or franchisor?
We're the franchisor.
Right.
Yes, we're the franchisor.
So the franchisees, if I was to come forward and say I want a Sobert franchise,
yeah.
what do I get?
Okay, we get about 40 franchise applications per week at the moment.
So I can't jump the queue.
We'll have to talk about that quietly somewhere. They would have to invest on average about 1.3 million Rand, which is the total cash outlay, not so much the investment, but the actual cash outlay, about 1.3 million. And they have a business which is completely up and running, and we hold their hands all the way through it, and they pay us a royalty, and that's about it. So they, you know, they're in business on their own, but not by themselves. You know, we're there to help them.
The diversification of the stores, because now the Blowdry Bar is an option, which is just nails and hair.
Yes, that's right.
Sobert Man.
Sobert Man's very exciting. Yeah, we've just opened our second store now in Bedford View, and it's starting to get some traction. And we're starting to get people coming through and wanting to be franchisees of that brand now as well. So that's an exciting development, yes.
London.
London, yes.
In fact, we are lucky to be getting this interview because you are heading out to London.
Yes.
And you're about to open your first store in that geography.
Yes, we're going to be opening our first store in North London, a place called Muswell Hill. I don't know if you've ever heard of that place, but it's there, not too far from Hampstead. You may have heard of Hampstead.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we've been waiting to do this for a very long time. I think the opportunity arose, or the idea to go to the UK came from Dermalogica, funny enough, and Dermalogica International. They were the ones who suggested to us that there was an opportunity because they felt that the market was very fragmented as it was in South Africa. And we did some investigation and we found that it was a fairly fragmented market and there were no brands either, the same as what we had here. So there was our opportunity again to try and build a brand. Obviously there's been a huge steep learning curve and we don't go in with any arrogance at all thinking we're going to dominate the world, but we do know that we have to try because otherwise we'll never know.
Is this a company-owned store?
Yes, company-owned store.
And
yeah.
You are looking to roll out the same franchise model in London?
Ultimately, yes, if we can get it established. We've already signed a second store. We'd like to open 3 in the first sort of 6 to 8 months and then operate those and see if we can get ourselves some sort of a brand going. So we've got our second store signed and opening in October, not far from Muswell Hill, a place called Crouch End. So we'll have 3 stores in that North London region, hopefully by about March next year.
Are you already looking, you're moving so fast with this business model,
Yes.
Are you looking at other geographies?
We are. I mean, at this stage, just tentatively, we're looking at the UAE and Dubai is definitely an opportunity there, and Australia as well in time. Yeah.
Ian, in terms of the local environment, Mbali Beauty is your closest competitor with about
That's
150
right.
stores.
Yes.
Have they reacted? Have you seen a reaction to your significant market share in the beauty business?
Yeah, look, I think they're trying. Obviously, they're doing a good job in trying to build. They have 3 brands in those 150 stores, so they approximately 50 stores, in each brand. And I think they've been doing quite a good job. But I don't see that they're growing at anywhere near the same sort of rate as we are at the moment.
What is your biggest challenge at this point? So you've got huge growth,
Yeah.
opening new stores, you've got franchisees falling in love with the model and falling over themselves in terms of trying to get their hands onto Sobert stores.
Right.
But there must be challenges.
The challenges are to try and keep the consistency of service going across the board when you're opening at this rate. That's the thing. So you're training people non-stop, flat out, to try and keep that level of service going, because I think that's perhaps our biggest risk. If we can't maintain the quality of service that we've been up to so far, then it's going to be challenging for us to continue to grow at this point.
Do you have a central training location? I mean, we're actually interviewing in one right here.
Yes, we have. Yeah, we've got 6 training rooms in this building. And this is Sobert Man's training room, and then we've got also Candy & Co. That's our ethnic hair brand, which we've launched also. We've got 3 stores of that, and also looking
When did you launch Candy & Co?
That was last year. We launched our first store, and we've opened 2 this year so far.
And are you seeing the same take-up?
No, it'll take a bit longer, but I think we're trying to create a really authentic and professional operation in that market, which up until now hasn't really had a lot of professionalism, a lot of sort of fly-by-night type operators. So we're trying to kind of put some structure into that industry. So I think not only do you want to try and open stores, you also want to try and change an industry, is essentially what we hope to do.
And you've got to be brave in terms of advertising campaigns. So
Yes.
Nancy meets Steve,
Nancy meets Steve.
unpolished, unwaxed,
and unloved. That was a difficult,
unloved.
and it was a bad word.
But, you know, they say any publicity
Yeah.
is good publicity at the end of the day. I mean,
Yeah.
how did you react to that campaign and the negativity?
No, we recognized the error straight away. You know,
Some would say it's clever.
yeah,
Is it really an error?
Look, the error was the word unloved. I don't think the concept was an error, because it was supposed to be light-hearted and it was supposed to tie up with Steve at FNB, and they quite liked it as well, funny enough. Steve, you know, the guys that developed Steve, they quite liked Nancy. But the word unloved was the error, and we retracted that and we took it down, and you know.
But still, you know,
you
any
learn. You got to
publicity
keep
is
learning
good
all
publicity.
the time.
Now, how do you go about your marketing and advertising campaigns? Because that was a billboard campaign.
There was a billboard campaign, and we do those all the time. We do social media campaigns.
What works best for you?
Yeah, I think the social media is by far the biggest.
Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter. And then we do a lot of SMS marketing direct to our database. We have over 200,000 people on our loyalty base at the moment. And so we market directly to them. And we try and be a little quirky in our marketing. My eldest daughter, Jade, she does a lot of that. And she has come up recently now that, you know, before you go away, you need to have a wax done, and it's hashtag travel light, stuff like that. So
Okay. Which is, I mean, it works,
cool.
and
It works,
you
yeah.
know, whatever you're doing right, I think that's what people want out of this interview. Please
Right.
tell me what Ian Fuhr is doing so that we can deploy the same formula to our businesses. On a very serious note,
Yes.
South Africa is in trouble. We saw the recent GDP numbers. The economy is contracting,
Yes.
with now many economists saying we're going to go into a recession. Is that impacting you?
I don't think we've seen the downturn in turnover as much as we expected, I must be honest. So I'm not quite sure if we're taking a slightly bigger share of a shrinking market, or if it's just that we've been fortunate or what, but we certainly haven't seen it. Although I must say we're very aware of it, and we don't want to take things lightly. We need to be well prepared for any downturn.
Do you believe that your customers are price sensitive?
Yes, they are. They are, definitely. We can see sometimes, particularly with the products, that they start to feel the pinch, definitely.
Do you have a strategy? So as you say, you know, you are looking at the broader macro environment.
Correct.
Do you have a strategy to
Yes, we've
maintain
launched-
that customer loyalty?
Yeah, we've launched our own skincare brand, as you're probably aware, which has been helped by Clicks. They put together, they develop all of our products, and that's been very successful, our relationship with Clicks so far. And we have now a range of our own skincare product, which is slightly more cost effective and hopefully of a good quality as well. So we try and stay ahead of the game as much as we can, because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. So we got to keep up to speed on all of these things. Yeah.
You've mentioned Clicks and you've mentioned Dermalogica as
Yes.
two key partners.
Yes.
How did they come to the fore in terms of partnering with you? Why did you choose them, in other words?
Okay,
Probably a better way to ask the question.
Okay, we chose Dermalogica right up front when we started, but Clicks chose us. We didn't choose them. They came to us around about 2010, 2011, said they wanted to partner with us. They liked our brand, and we developed the affinity partnership in terms of the club card, people being able to come into Sorbet and swipe the Clicks card, which has been a huge value add for our guests. And then in 2012 they said, can we now launch the Sorbet brand? So they have developed and formulated the entire range. We have over 200 different products already at this stage, with a lot more to come. And I think that's been a hugely successful relationship, as has our relationship been with Dermalogica. We are, I think, by far the largest supplier of Dermalogica in South Africa, and probably one of the largest in the world.
Let's go back to what brought you to the beauty journey and looking at the different and many different businesses that you've started and closed. Is all that experience weighing in now?
I think particularly in the development of a corporate culture. I think that's the area that I learned most, you know, in terms of all my previous businesses. And I'm a huge believer that if you get the corporate culture right, if you get the people side right, the money will flow. And I think the theme there is to get people to understand that they don't come to work to make money. Okay, they come to work to serve people, and if they serve them well, they will make money. It's the same as business. You don't go into business to make money. You go into business to serve the needs and wants of people. And if you do that really well, you'll make lots of money.
I'm interested then to investigate the remuneration model that
Yes.
you employ with your staff.
Yes.
Is there an incentive there?
Yes. When we started, it was pretty much a basic salary with a small commission. And then we changed that completely to a commission-only structure, where people could really do well, and if they were able to work
so
hard.
No basic?
No basic, but a guaranteed minimum commission. So there's like a safety net as opposed to a basic salary. So it's either the commission or the guaranteed commission, whichever is the greater.
How long did it take you to decide that that was the route to go?
I think we started that after about 18 months of struggling along, and people coming in, lots of people were coming.
So high staff, you had a problem with high staff turnover.
People were coming in and out of our stores, but they were mainly staff, not customers. So that was a bit tricky. But we had a very high staff turnover, about 40 to 45% in the beginning, and now it's well under 10%. So which is hugely lower than the industry average at the moment.
Have you made mistakes in this journey, though, in the beauty business journey, in the Sobert journey?
Yeah, lots of mistakes. Look, I think there's no way in the world that you can run a business without making regular mistakes. You just got to keep them as small as possible and try and recover as quickly as you can. I think sometimes you misjudge people, you misjudge store locations. Fortunately, we haven't had a single closure yet of a single franchisee since we started, which is, we've been fortunate. But there are mistakes to be made, and they're happening all the time. You choose the wrong campaign, you choose, just on and on and on.
Store location is crucial.
Yes, yeah.
What goes into ascertaining whether an environment is right for a Sobert store?
Okay, the first thing that we have is this amazing MD that runs this company called Rudy Rudolph, and he's had many years' experience in the property industry and in retailing, so he really understands that market well. And then he, together with the franchisees, go out and they look at stores, and they will jointly decide whether the location is right. We will definitely not just take any location, because I think some franchises out there sometimes will abuse the opportunity just to take some money. At first it was a bit tricky, obviously, because the landlords thought that we were an ice cream store, and that took a while to break that down. But now we get a lot of requests from landlords and saying that there's an opening. I think we've become the beauty salon of choice for from the landlord perspective. And then they go out and they decide, and we don't, I think what I was saying is that we don't take advantage of an uneducated franchisee and just put her in a place so we can take her money, knowing that she's going to fail there. So we need to be, a lot of ethics involved with that, and unfortunately we see it sometimes where it doesn't quite happen like that.
The franchisor will take the money and
the
run.
franchisor takes the money and just says, well, good luck, and then when they close down, there's not a lot of sympathy there. So that's why we are particularly careful on site selection and franchisee selection to ensure that we don't ever close a store. So up until now, we've been able to achieve that. Can't say it'll last forever, but for now, it's
Why Sobert? Because you mentioned the ice cream. I've thought that before. Why did you go with Sobert?
Right in the beginning, we went to a branding consultancy, and we asked them for some help. And we sat around talking about the typical customer that we were trying to attract. And then they came back with a list of names, and on that list was Sobert. And I still don't know why they put it there, to be honest. But I just loved it, the concept of the ice cream.
It's light, fresh, it's delicious,
it's colourful,
great.
It's delicious, it's tantalizing. And it was going to be very, very different to anything that had ever happened in the beauty industry before. And I think that was the main thing, is the differentiation. If you're going to try and build a brand, you need to be really different. So the whole look and feel of our store was different. The focus on retailing as opposed to treatments was quite different as well. And in everything we do, we can never really say we're best at everything. That would be a little arrogant, but we certainly can say we try to be different in everything we do.
Your vision.
Yes.
We know, as I said earlier, you're off to London, your
Yes.
first store's opening. Let's go 5 years from here, given the rapid growth that we're seeing. And you made the point, I said 131 stores. You said, no, in the last 10 days, we opened another 5. So you're at 136. We can't keep up with you, even from a news flow perspective. What does the Sobert picture look like?
I think what really excites me is that there are no multinational beauty salon brands in the world. Not one that we're aware of, and we've done homework on that. So there are some big chains, but they are generally located in a single country or maybe a next door neighbor, but nothing that has become global. And I think that's where we want to be.
And thank you so much. We'll be following your story with enthusiasm. And
thank you very much.
Hopefully we can keep up with the news flow. I'll make sure I at least research you a day before I come in to do the interview next time.
Thank you very much.
I've been chatting to Ian Fuhr, who is the founder and CEO of Sobert. You're watching Captains of Industry here on CNBC Africa, DSTV 410.